IMP Chairman, Sri Sunil President, Sri Anil Kumar Chaudhary, our Vice President, Dr. Somasundaram Balasubramaniam, our Treasurer, Sri Paritosh Avasti, and our General Secretary, Sri Binu Charan Sai. Last but not least, I would like to welcome our dearly participants who are the pillars of any event. Welcome all. Let's begin the event. Conscience is a mirror of our souls, which represents the errors of our lives in their full shape. To speak on the topic conscience keeping, I heartily welcome the director of LCG Energy Consultant Private Limited at Bhopal, who is highly passionate and committed to energy conservation, efficiency, and sustainability, who has also taken steps to promote these concepts. He is also the proud founder of IM. The person is none other than Sri Sunil Kumar Sood. Welcome, sir. The forum is yours now, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Kavi Priya, for starting with this unique word, conscience. So this one single word binds IAMP, IMPNs, energy management profession, and also it binds all those who are really committed and want to do something, because it is the conscience which drives them. And in IAMP we had incorporated it in our objectives itself, and we were proudly calling ourselves as conscience keepers to the nation on energy matters. And our vision document, which we had published in 2007, is it visible? Is it visible?
Sir, ulta karna hai, ulta karna hai. It is visible.
It is visible, sir. It is visible.
You can read that the conscience keepers to the nation is written here, and also we had quoted Gandhiji. Gandhiji's quote on conscience, that there is a higher court than court of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. It means if we are conscience driven, then we are most likely to be on the right path. And keeping conscience starts with ourselves. And I would like to also say that there have been some movies made based on this conscience. Conscience in Hindi, it is called Antaratma, and Urdu Zamir. So there was one movie in which Meenakshi Seshadri was the lead actress. That is Damini. Damini movie was totally conscience driven, where she takes up the issue of an unfortunate incident to the girl who was working in the household of a rich family, and an untoward incident happens, and she takes up courageously, even though she was the daughter-in-law of the house, because her conscience was awakened. And in the movie, which is directed by Rajkumar Santoshi, in the end it ends with that quote of Gandhiji, that there is a higher court than the court of justice, and that is the court of conscience. There was another movie that is Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, that was based on the life of Haji Mastan, who was notorious, known as a smuggler, notorious king of those days, where they used to do smuggling. Those days, smuggling of gold was very famous, because gold rates in India were much higher than outside, and smugglers used to bring gold and sell in India. So what in that Haji Mastan, see, the kind of person who was given a bad name, so we know there is nothing like good or bad, but he was branded as a bad person. But even then, what he had said, that I might be doing something which the government does not allow. That is means smuggling. That I might be doing something which the government doesn't allow, but I don't ever do anything which my zamir doesn't allow, my conscience doesn't allow. So that was a wonderful thing, which reveals that that conscience is actually the driving force, and you cannot say who is good or who is bad, but even in so-called bad person, there is something called zamir, antaratma, conscience, which really makes them do actually take the right path. Now, if somebody is doing something so-called illegal work in the eyes of the so-called law, that doesn't make him so really bad, because we all know how the laws are drafted in India and how the laws are implemented and how powerful people come out of those things and so-called weak people are trapped. So maybe someone may be doing something wrong, maybe in the eyes of others may be wrong, as per the law of the law made by the man, but law made by the nature, law made by the God, by the supreme authority, those laws are all conscience driven. So what in our IMP, we formed a unique association which was driven by conscience, and last 15 years it was driven, it has been going on all through conscience driven activities. Whatever sometimes we might have come across some certain bad thing, but finally I have seen most of the members have come in support and taken the right path. What is conscious? Conscious means it is something in our mind which tells you that what you are doing is right or wrong. That is conscious. Sometimes people confuse with conscious. It is not conscious, it is conscience. Conscious means when you are awake, when you are aware, you are doing something consciously. Most of the time we do subconsciously, but often we need to do something consciously. That is, conscious is different and conscience is different. Conscience is related to our what we want to do something, whether it is right or wrong. Even you will not believe that book on energy management book written by Gordon Payne. He has defined energy manager's role. But who has defined energy manager? He has defined energy manager as keeper of the company's conscience on all matters affecting energy. So this word conscience is linked with our profession, with the guiding force like Gandhiji, and with our own activities. So it is not something totally aligned. It is not something we are talking some totally new or some irrelevant thing. It is very much relevant, because even hardcore energy management professional, he has written it 40 years ago. He has written this. He has defined who is energy manager. If he is not able to keep the conscience of the company on energy matters, he is not an energy manager, because it is related to the availability of energy, clean energy, to those deprived. We might be having money and spend how much energy we want, but unless we take decision based on conscience, energy cannot be made of clean energy, and affordable energy cannot be made available totally. Even now, there are at least every 15% of the world population is still deprived of the clean and affordable energy. So does it not mean that we should link it with our consumption? So all these things makes sense. And then when we think in that direction, whenever we do energy audit, whenever we go for energy resources audit, we remember, as Gandhiji himself told, whatever you do, remember the last person who is in the queue. Then such sayings of Gandhiji helps you out. Then I have already shared how to take care of your conscience. There are 50 points. One by one, you may kindly tick every day where I am doing something wrong. I am not telling that it is possible to do every time, all the time as per conscience, but as much as possible, we can do that. That is how we can do the conscience keeping. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was an energetic speech on conscience. Next, I would like to welcome the personality who is a certified energy auditor, lead quality auditor, and project management, who has certifications from PMA India and PMGOL USA. He has been working for 25 years in the field of energy management, which also includes many pilot projects and scaling up. He has begun career with Mecon Limited in June 16, 1996. Presently, serving as Chief General Manager and Head Operations since April 28, 2020 in Energy Efficiency Services Limited. He has also been into philanthropic involvement in various social bodies for sustainable development. The well-known personality is none other than Sri Anil Kumar Chaudhary. Now, I welcome Anil sir to speak on the topic sustainability and self-reliance in Gandhian philosophy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kavipriya, for this overwhelming welcome. So I am also overwhelmed for that. So happy Gandhi Jayanti to one and all, and it's a very august moment for everyone. And it has. And today everybody has gathered here, and the start has been very wonderful. And Sood sir, as always, has been always guiding us, and he has told what actually Gandhiism is, and how we can imbibe on that, and what are the principles of Gandhiism, and why we should go for that. And what I will start with from where he left. Actually, I will start from what the clue he has given. He has told of one Gandhiji's saying, that is Gandhiji's talisman, Gandhiji's jantar. That is first I will say that jantar in Hindi. That he told that मैं तुम्हें एक जंतर देता हूं, जब भी तुम्हें संदेह हो या तुम्हारा अहम तुम पर हावी होने लगे तो यह कसौटी आजमाओ। जो सबसे गरीब और कमजोर आदमी तुमने देखा हो उसकी शक्ल याद करो और अपने दिल से पूछो कि जो कदम उठाने का तुम विचार कर रहे हो वह उस आदमी के लिए कितना उपयोगी होगा। क्या उसे कुछ लाभ पहुंचेगा? क्या उससे वह अपने जीवन और भाग्य पर कुछ काबू रख सकेगा? यानी क्या उससे उन करोड़ों लोगों को स्वराज मिल सकेगा जिनके पेट भूखे हैं और आत्मा अतृप्त है? तब तुम देखोगे कि तुम्हारा संदेह मिट रहा है और अहम समाप्त हो रहा है। What he actually said, that in English it is like that: I will give you talisman whenever you are in doubt, or whenever the self becomes too much on with you, and you apply this test. Actually, recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man whom you have seen, and ask yourself, the step which you are going to take is of any use for that him or her? Will he or she will gain anything by it? Will it restore him or to control over his own life and destiny? In other words, it will lead to Swaraj for the hungry and spiritually starving millions. Then if you apply this step, then you will find that your doubts or yourself are melting away. So what is the nutshell is that, it means whatever the conscious Sir has just told, you have to apply it always in your action. Whatever the maybe, there are many things which are the laws, there are many things which are the sin. We call something sin, but which is not covered in the laws also. I am just not getting an example right now, but there are many things which we can relate. That there we call it sin, but that is not covered in the law. So what we actually, human beings, are driven by the conscious basically, and then we eventually evolve into various other kinds of things. One law of one nation is different from law of other nation. So law is not a universal thing. So is the conscious is always is guiding you. It's because conscious is driven by your society, your self-being, your sustainability also. That is where sustainability comes into the picture. If what and that is related with the Swaraj also, as is the self-reliance, which is self-reliance. And you see one thing, that UN development goals also. UN development goals, these people, Western people, everyone, they have formulated UN development goals. But you see that these are also related with the Gandhian thought only. What it says? No poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, and just anybody can help me. This affordable clean energy, decent work, economic growth, industry innovation, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption. This is one point in that UN development goal. Climate action, life below water, life on the land, peace and justice, and partnership for these goals, partnership for the goals. What are these? These are the nothing but all evolving from the Gandhiji's talisman, Gandhiji's jantar only. Your any action is never sustainable. You can do anything today, but what is important is whether it is sustainable or not. That is more important. And if it is not sustainable, everything will go waste, and you will have crisis for that also. What we have seen also, we have got some energy resources. We have the reserves of coal. We have got, somebody has discovered that coal can be used as energy. That coal, we have got coal reserves. We have got the fossil reserves also. We started using that energy. It was very good. Everybody was recognized those fellows. Many people got Nobel Prize also. Everything, all kinds of development has become possible because of those kinds of energy only. Energy is a prime mover. Energy is required, so energy only this. But that has now proved that it is not sustainable. So if everything, the sustainable thing and this and the self-reliance comes into the picture. Self-reliance, and so it all comes from the meaning of that, whether we are going to serve the last mile person or not. And which is reflected in sustainable development goals also. Now everybody is talking about that. So what this self-reliance means. Self-reliance, which from Gandhiji's word, it is Swaraj. Swaraj means what? Swaraj is self-rule. Actually, it means self-rule. But Gandhiji gave it the content of an integral revolution that encompasses all spheres of life. At the individual level, Swaraj is vitally connected with the capacity of dispassionate and self-assessment. You have to always assess yourself, and ceaseless self-purification and growing self-reliance. Means you have to assess yourself all the time and purify all the time, and you have to become a dispassionate. Dispassionate doesn't mean that you have to leave attachment. It is in spirituality, it is called as a detached attachment. Means you are attached to many things. You are attached to your near and dear ones, and attached to your society. But that should not be a frivolousness, not at all a frivolousness. And you should always assess yourself. Jameer has become Jameer, Antaratma, conscience becomes very important in all those things. So that and this let us relate with this self-reliance and sustainability. It is very much related also, but let us relate it. Energy, resource conservation, these all we are resource conservation, we are all talking about, and it is not just talking which is requirement of the day. Requirement, coal has been used, oil, gas, nuclear has been also talked about. Nuclear is there. Everything has got some is not sustainable. Coal, oil, gases are increasing our GHG emissions. Nuclear is very dangerous. Renewable we have to harness. What we should do? Gandhiji has already told about the minimalistic living. Those sitting in the AC rooms talking about the minimalistic living seems somewhat outrageous. But we can be doing something, at least conservation we can do. Conservation, and conservation is, as Susab has been telling also many times, and it is published various times that conservation is a source of energy only. So, so that is the so that conservation. What is that conservation? Conservation is not only conservation of energy. Conservation of all kinds of resources is a conservation of energy. He gave the example of minimalistic living. He was living in the least possible cloth. So what was that? Well, he wanted to show to the world that if we can save, then this can be saved, used for the many people if in India who are stricken by poverty. So that kind of life he led to show us. If people start living like that, then those needs can be fulfilled. So what we can do, at least we can conserve, we can use judiciously, we can have best practices of the conservations, so that we not just spill over the resources. Conserve for the society. If we have got money, this doesn't mean that we are going to use inefficient devices, because we have to be efficient. Let's say being on time is also being efficient. Being on and this respecting and it's other signs also. It's saving energy, conserving our resources. So these kinds of habits we have to inculcate, and it is not as a very good thing to talk about. It's a requirement. It's order of the day. It increases our efficiency. It increases our output, and this gives sustainability to everything. And this is required for the Swaraj, because it's for the energy security of the nation. It is required. So, and this is. This you see, sustainability comes in all kinds of things. Whenever you go for energy efficiency, what is that? Energy efficiency, you are going using for the same type of comfort and everything. You are using a device which is less energy guzzler. So that kind of thing should be always in the mind, and this gives a very good economic sense also. When you are going for these kinds of things, this needs a market transformation. This needs these kinds of product to be developed. This gives all thinkers, scientists, professionals, everyone to bring up those kinds of product. So it gives a very good satisfaction to everybody. When it becomes a paid social service also, means you are transforming the society and having the economic, fulfilling the economic goals also. So what's harm in it? When the new products will be coming and the market transformation will be there. So that is really a wonderful thing. And these UN development goals, which has been listed, these are very stretched goals, which have been, I always think that it has been derived from Gandhiji's thought only. So these are stretched goals, and this will definitely require transformation of society. So, and it has been always being talked about. So transformation of society is to be done now only, and everything passing is a delay. And this has to be, now it is to be very fast. So all kinds of technologies is to be used, all kinds of thoughts, innovations are to be deployed in all kinds of devices to be more efficient, more cost effective. And that is where other technologies, new technologies, the Internet of Things, IoTs, everything are getting going to play a vital role. So this, we have a Gandhian philosophy. If you believe in that, believe it truly in that, our life, our professional thing, our own self, our own efficiency, everything will be improved. Somebody is just telling also that first thing you do, love yourself. If you start loving yourself, everybody will love you. You will find everybody lovable also, because world is made of love only. Nothing, hate is also a form of love. So that is what is we are basically made of. Is basically made of this eternal quality, made of love. When a child is born, he is not born with the hate. So we have to maintain our inner own self, which we have been born, original content of our life. Then we can imbibe all these qualities of having a consciousness, having this whether our action is going to be beneficial to our last mile person or not. Everything, even this, when a project is being thought of, in an engineering project or whatever, I'm telling you, one concept is very much coming. Let's say somebody is going to put up a plant of coal-based power plant. You tell me how many people are going to finance those plants now? Because these plants are getting phased out. So now this sustainable financing has also come into the picture. These are the things which are being thought of when we are financing the projects. So so financing is done on what basis? Whether this ESG objective project has become, means whether it is environmentally sustainable or not, socially sustainable or not, and whether governance is right. Those who are going to handle those projects in that system, whether governance is right or not, whether they are giving equal opportunity to everyone or not, whether gender equality is there or not, whether they are taking care of marginalized society or not. Everything is coming in the project appraisal report to finance any project. So somebody can say, how does it matter? But it matters, because otherwise it is not going to sustainable. Let's say somebody says, why to take care of underprivileged class, what to take care of all those various deprived class. So how does it matter to us? But this is, and if somebody is doing this as a this charity or a philanthropy, maybe for a certain time you can think yourself that it is a philanthropic exercise, but for a society it is not at all philanthropy. It's a need of the society. Once everybody is not happy, you cannot be happy. Just think of one in your one family. If you are not good in terms with anyone, not in the within the four walls of the house, let's say some extended family also, then you will not be able to live happily. And that happens in the society also. If some community, some societies living nearby or remote also, if they are interconnected, not happy, it is certain that progress is not going to happen. And if progress is there, that is not at all sustainable. So Gandhiji's thought has been always relevant, and it will always remain. It is for us to realize and implement it in the letter and spirit. Then only these transformations will be fast. This transformation will actually happen. And this is what actually I wanted to say today, and I want to say it all the time, just because it's not the thing of today, it's the thing of all the hours, all the seconds we have to imbibe in ourselves only. So thank you very much. I want to listen to others also. I hope I have made some sense today. Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. It was mind-blowing. To continue, with, I would like to welcome our bold and stronger Vice President, who is a business development professional, educator, researcher with proven and awarded Industry 4.0 digitalization, Six Sigma, lean manufacturing, energy management system. He has implementation experience in leading MNCs. He's a continuous learner and proud alumnus too. He has 30 plus working papers with 49,000 plus reads, 8 citations, and research gate score of 4 plus and H index. I welcome Mr. Sundaram sir to speak on the topic need of digital transformation for sustainable Bharat through Gandhiji's eye. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kavipriya. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I will thank Vibhuji for giving this particular topic to me, need of digital transformation for sustainable Bharat through Gandhiji's eye. So thank you for that. It was really thought-provoking even for me, sincerely or honestly saying, I haven't thought in this particular aspect before. Thank you, Sud sir and Anil sir, to make this particular program happen and giving this opportunity. Fine. So let me see what is the justice I can do for this particular opportunity. Okay, so I am asked to talk on digital transformation. First, I'm very sure, like many of you know about digital transformation, but just to have a small recap. So we are talking about digital transformation. We are talking about industrial revolution. And we all know, like we are in the industrial revolution 4 somewhere here. Very important industrial revolution 1, which is more powered with the steam power. Industrial revolution 2, which is, I would say, probably the birth of electrical engineers. Electrical motors came into picture. There are industrial engineering aspects which came in, mass production, line production. Ford company came. So those kind of things nurtured out in the second industrial revolution. So the time it took is almost 100, 130 years for the second industrial revolution. After that, the third industrial revolution came, where the electrical equipments, it is very hard to control it, and there is a need for going from some electrical-based control, the relay logic-based control, into electronic-based control. So the electronics that came inside. Probably I would say like mechanical engineers ruled the world from the first industrial revolution. After that, there came the electrical engineers, and after that, the third industrial revolution, it is electrical and electronics engineer. So it's very easy for us to remember what happened in each and every revolution. And now we are in the fourth industrial revolution, especially after the boom of internet communication. It become very cheap now. I can see even my grandmother. She is using WhatsApp for video calls. So those kind of digital luxury is there in our personal life. There are a lot of digital luxury. For example, I remember those days when I am asked to go maybe for an NCC camp. We were asked to go to some northern state. So I went there, but it was something completely strange. And my professor who was guiding us, he had a very high time speaking with the taxi drivers and other things and negotiating with the price. But nowadays, I think you don't need anything like that. If Ola is there, then go there, you book your cab, the rates are already available. You don't have to probably speak with the driver unless otherwise you want to be social with it. So that's the comfort. And just imagine, I'm also talking about my niece. She is 19, 18 in years of age, and she is also traveling, and we are very easy to keep a tap of her safety. So lot many things I think which is there as a digital transformation in our personal life, and that also is going into the professional life where the industries are adapting, the manufacturing domain is adapting. So this is the fourth industrial revolution. I remember the days where people used to say like, one of the Gandhian principle is everything have to be available for everyone, right? So universal uplift fund is his thing. Probably, the supercomputer, probably when we were reading about computer science, probably they will say like Param 2000, it is there in this particular university. Probably we might have heard about Param 2000, but we might not have interacted with it. But now, just imagine, just by your fingertips, even my third grade, my son studying in third grade, he is able to interact with his voice assistant, where it is connected to a cloud server, which is much more powerful than those days a supercomputer. So it is accessible for everyone. So that is what the industrial revolution is all about, and very important. The time it takes for the fourth industrial revolution to come is almost 40, 50 years. And what is expected is the fifth industrial revolution will be half of it. Probably in another 10 years or 15 years, you will have the fifth industrial revolution. So people are talking about it. So this is industrial revolution and digital transformation. This is what we think, right? So now I want to give you a view. Fine, okay. What is Gandhian principle? Yeah, obviously everyone knows about it. He talks about truth, non-violence, satyagraha, sarvodaya, swaraj, trust. Yeah, so all these things are Gandhian principles. So yesterday night when I was making the note for this particular presentation, then I thought like, okay, I should also put it in my LinkedIn profile. So I try to map it. Okay, fine. Gandhian principles and digital technologies. What digital technology as a value proposition is bringing to this particular world, and how it is matching to Gandhian principle. Truth. When we are talking about truth, just imagine. Now, if I want to leave, for example, a chief minister, whatever data he is seeing, probably you and me, we will be able to see, at least on the high level, which is not confidential. Let's take COVID-19. When the pandemic happened, probably, the rate at which maybe all the radio jockeys in the morning, 7:30, they will say like the tweet from the collector will come at 7:45. Exactly at 7:45 in the Twitter, he announces that this is the number of COVID cases. These are all the places where the beds are available. You just imagine. That is the way how the data was coming in. Okay, obviously there are questions. People may say like whether that is the true data, but at least the data is available for everyone, the mass. and we are talking about India, which is a very big nation with a lot of people. And if you have to reach to all the masses, the digital transformation is very essential. And if you want to take the truth to them, obviously digital transformation is very essential. And those days are gone where we are searching for some papers. For example, I remember, for example, sometimes I will be asked, okay, can you give me the registration certificate of IIMP? Probably, I don't have to do anything. I just go to Google IIMP.in registration certificate. It is available. So the truth, it may be good, bad. There are some allegations made on our association and our findings. Probably, we replied back. We handled that particular dispute in a more non-violent way, in a more democratic way with the digital tools like Gmail or Yahoo Group or whatever it is. Yeah. And coming to non-violence, Satyagraha, yeah, again, it is also coming to the same thing. Nowadays, even if an youngster, just imagine, even a girl, 4 years old, she is able to send a video message to the Prime Minister of India saying that, hey, under COVID-19 restriction, schooling from home, I am facing all these difficulties. Mr. Prime Minister, I am feeling very difficult. Do something for me. A 4th grade studying girl, she is able to send a video message to the top of the nation. Just imagine. So, lot many things. You can protest against anything virtually. So, obviously, it is supporting the Gandhian principles, the digital transformation. Now, coming to Sarvodaya, this is something very important. I think many of you might have listened to Mr. Sundur Pichai's talk, right? He always say like, okay, see, what is fascinating for him? Obviously, he gets a lot of money. He paid huge, but obviously, what is really giving the food for his hunger is he is democratizing data. Now, all data is available. Probably in those days when we were studying in a college, I have to be part of that particular college if I have to attend a lecture of one renowned professor. But now, probably Anil sir, you're from IIT, but I am a government polytechnic diploma engineer. That's all. That's my qualification. But now I have access to all the IIT best professors' lectures in YouTube, NPTEL. Just imagine. Google, just take another example. I have everything available in my fingertips. And this really supports the Sarvodaya principle. I have seen one of my relative, his father, he is a Sirpi. He makes idols for temple. He lives in a village, hardly I will get a tower. But his son, he is in USA working for HCL in a very big job. Just imagine, friends, how these things are happening. Digital transformation, digital technologies are giving this opportunity for all the people, whatever they want to study, wherever they are, provided they have some internet connection. Thanks for BharatNet kind of initiatives where it is possible. Now, I also want to spend another 2-3 minutes in another very important aspect. Probably you all also have to join me. Yeah. So I think many of you know Professor C.K. Prahalad. He is one of the management gurus, though he is not there with us. Many of the Indian policies or the government policies are, I would say, like whatever he had talked, that is what is being now practiced. Probably we are working on the principles or the foundations laid by him. So he gave one of the, again, he is no more, but I, a person living after him, I am now seeing his lectures. He made a lecture in an MLK symposium, which happens in the University of Ross. Okay, I don't know, University of Michigan. I cannot go there really, right? But now the digital technology is making me learn from the most relevant, or I would say decorated professor, Mr. C.K. Prahalad. Probably, C.K. means Coimbatore Krishna Rao Prahalad. He is also from the same town where I am born. He also born in the same town, but I haven't met him. But obviously, I'm meeting him virtually. He is my virtual guru. Yeah. Now he always does a lecture and he uses this particular picture. So I want audience. You can unmute maybe one or two. Can you tell me what is this picture? Someone can unmute and tell, like, okay, what is this picture all about?
Two elephants going in forest, sir.
Okay, people going in forest. Okay, great. Probably it is a sightseeing, sir. What do you think?
It's a village.
No, they.
Yes, sir.
नमस्कार इसमें विजिट बाय मिनिस्टर ऑफ द स्टेट और सेंटर हु इज विजिटिंग जंगल.
Great, sir. Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Minister visiting the jungle, and there are policemen guarding him. Great, sir. Great. Thank you. Any other thoughts? You can guess, sir. You can guess what it is.
The similar thoughts of that any dynasty is traveling or something like that.
Ah, great, sir. Great. A king, probably he is traveling. A king, a minister, a high-powered person who is guarded, and he is taken on top of an elephant, and people are guarding the elephant as well as the person who is traveling. Great, sir. Thank you for that. But very important is it is not a king, it is not a minister. Probably you will understand who it is now. Any guess, sir, who it is?
Yeah, election officer.
Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Yes.
So it is not a king or ruling a dynasty. He is not a minister who is a high-powered. It is the officers, the electoral poll officers traveling to remote places, carrying the electronic voting machine. Obviously, I don't think many of us might have, or no one, or obviously, yeah, there are few who are condemning the process. See, no one is raising a big doubt on the process. Obviously, the result of that particular election, probably people are a little concerned about, but the process is something reaching the mass, and what they are using is electronic voting machines. That is transforming the way we are conducting the world's largest, or I would say the democracy and its election in a way. You can see the electoral officers in the jungle traveling to the tribal village where there are probably, 10 or 15 voters. Even there, they are traveling. I myself have traveled with my sister and my wife. Last year, she was given an opportunity to be an electoral officer, and I traveled to one of the tribal village near Ooty. Very important is this is something what is happening. Digital transformation, using electronics, using information technology, using these hardwares, and it is being given the respect of minister, maybe someone like myself, king. Yeah, so that is the kind of respect it is being given, and it deserves it. Colleagues, it deserves it because of doing this mass election. The process what we are following, especially this electronic voting booth, that has given us at least, Six Sigma level compliance to avoid any error. Six Sigma level compliance. That is the reason all the democracy in the world are appreciating us. Another visual where the electoral officers are taking the voting booths. Friends, this is something I think the dream of the father of our nation, and we are making it happen with a small digital transformation. Nothing big, it's a very small one. Many things is going to come in the future.
I think Annie wants to ask something.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Annie, you want to ask something? Somebody raised the hand. No? Sir, continue. So
yeah. Okay, great. So digital transformation, yes, it is touching each and everyone's life. The world is moving towards it, but I would say I will have that liberty because I have traveled to Europe, probably not for learning Industry 4.0, but for probably getting the award for implementing Industry 4.0 in India at Coimbatore, my hometown, and making it pride. I presented in multiple places in Germany. And take my words, friends, we are the number one in this, and it is possible for us to go to the even higher level. I will come to that, but before that, I will come to one important wording. The leadership of our country have given one of a very big conference related to industry or digitalization, the digital conclave. It was mentioned like probably the other industrial revolutions, India might be not there in the bus, or we might have missed the bus also sometimes. Technologies come from abroad. The technologies, equipment technologies come from Germany. US used to have a patent, and after that they open some manufacturing shop in India and they market it, they get money. But in digital transformation, especially making softwares, making data analytical algorithms, we are the leaders. And that is the strength. That is our strength by heredity. Analytically, we are very good. And he made a statement that probably we will not miss this Industry 4.0 bus. At the same time, we will not be the passenger in that bus. So can someone guess, sir, who we will be? We will not miss that bus, but we will not be the passenger in the bus. Someone, sir?
We will find our own ways in this.
Yeah, but what would be our position in that bus? Probably, sir, a simple analogy just to recall. We are not passengers, we are not footboarding, or we are not on top of the bus.
We are driving the bus.
We may drive the bus.
We are driving the bus. Perfect, sir. Perfect. We will be the driver of that particular bus because of our strength in software, because of our basic, God-given thoughts, our ability to think, our ability to innovate. We will be driving this Industry 4.0 bus, and probably, in the next coming industrial revolution, I see it is possible. Take my words. In 2015, I started Industry 4.0. 2017, I got an award from Germany, the land where Industry 4.0 came to the world. It is possible, sir. We will be able to drive this, not only 4.0, even 5.0 also. With that, I want to also touch upon one other very important, I would say, what is the takeaway of this particular program? Yes, confidence, great. But what is the next takeaway? The important takeaway is the demographic dividend what we are having. We are the youngest nation, and this youngest nation continues till 2031. There are predictions that between the year 2020 to 2040, the 20 years, because of being young nation, where we are having more number of people who are in the working age group, we will be able to turn whatever we have lost in the 200 years of slavery. 200 years of slavery, whatever we have lost, we will be able to recover in this 20 years. That is 2020 to 2040, and we are living in this particular golden age. We will be probably, driving it. Our student chapters, wherever the youngsters are there, like Kavi Priya, we need to support them. We need to help them in giving our domain knowledge so that those young kids who are familiar in creating a code, creating an app, creating masters of Python, they will be able to make it realistic. And we also have to take a oath that whatever we learn in digitalization have to also go to the mass, because this is an ever evolving technology, and there is no textbook as of now which can be prescribed for anyone. Probably I remember, Yashwant Kanikar, Pointers in C. Yeah, there is a book available. But Industry 4.0, how to do it? Cement manufacturing, how I can optimize the process using AI. All these things are not written. Probably the stalwarts of IIMP, the people who are stalwarts in energy management, who know the trick and tip of how to see that particular opportunities of improvement, you have to come and say, sir, you have to help these youngsters to write these algorithms, and these algorithms is going to really help the nation in achieving whatever our father of the nation have dreamed of. How we can do it, that will be the next question. Yes, government is doing a lot of initiatives. One is AI for All, an initiative of Indian government. This is a free training everyone can take. Even I have asked my son, who is only 9th, to take this particular training. There are 2 trainings, AI Aware and AI Appreciate. It is a very good training in partnership with Intel. Our government have done it. And there is one more e-learning platform, Future Skill Prime, Many of the corporates also subscribe to this. It is again completely free. You have to log in from any computer within India. It is geo-fenced only for the computers with is having the IP range in India. If I connect to my German server and probably I connect, I will be thrown out of this particular website. But if you are from India, yes, it is free, available for you. Let's take this particular vote on this particular beautiful day that digital transformation, yes, it is touching our life. Instead of contenting it, creating that mass change is very important for India to continue its journey to achieve whatever our father of our nation have dreamed of. Let's do it. Let's upskill ourselves, especially in digitization. I sincerely request the leadership of IIMP and others, Indian Association for Accredited Energy Auditors, and whomever is our associated partners, please work on this, have a committee on this particular thing. Let's do it. We have to do it. Otherwise, there is no other go. Then again, we will miss the bus. Then someone will from outside will patent their technology, and we have to pay money, royalty, and ask or beg from them. Rather, let's do it by ourselves. There are a lot of open source communities available. There is no license. Nothing is there. We can develop it. We can donate it to the greater world to use it so that we can achieve the sustainability goals, which is reached by our father of our nation. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'd be happy if there are some questions, please.
Thank you. Thank you. It has been nice. Actually, I was always wondering that it all relates with the Gandhiji's Jantar. That when we are going to more masses, we are relating to the more masses, reaching to the people. That's fulfilling Gandhiji's dream only. So IoT is going to do that, and we as IMP we have already started discussing, and so we are going to take lead on that also. So over to you, Vibhuji. Kavi Priya.
Thank you, sir. It was very interesting. To speak about the Mission Sustainable Bharat by Gandhiji and role of IIMPNs, here I would like to welcome our IIMP Treasurer, Sri Paritosh Awasthi, who is a Chartered Engineer, Energy Management Professional, and A-Class Electrical Engineering Contractor and Quality Management Professional. He is having a vast experience in project engineering, power substation and railway traction system, gas projects, R&D power substation equipment, including railway traction components, missile and ammunition, airworthiness of 3D missions. Welcome, sir. He has also been the Joint Secretary in the Central Council of IIMP.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kavipriya. This is Paritosh Awasthi, welcoming you all from Bhopal and paying my sincere tribute to Gandhiji, the father of our nation, and Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, the well-known second Prime Minister of our country and unsung hero. He was sometimes he was heavy industries minister and railway minister. However, my ancestor speakers have narrated, mentioned and flashed many of the things of value, very much valuable. Hello, am I audible now?
Yes. You're always audible.
Yeah. Before I start, I must thank Mr. Bibhu to bring his attention that he has not used word India anywhere in our today's program he conceived. He mentioned Bharat sustainable, and everywhere Bharat means the true nation where we are. Now this is the change. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Vibhuji, for giving me an opportunity to interact with all my associates and friends. My subject has been to mention the role of IIEMPNs
for Mission Sustainable Bharat in Gandhian philosophy. So there are two things I would like to take: the role of IAEMPN. Who are IAEMPN and how they are different from other professionals? So I have to highlight something on qualities and necessities of IAEMPNs, and then we'll come to uh, philosophy of Gandhian philosophy on mission sustainability. So Gandhi's most uh, mentioned word was Sarvodaya. Somu Sundaram ji and Anil sir has also taken this word during their conversation, their narration. Sarvodaya, the word itself means some in totality. Sarv means all, Uday means rise of all. So Sarvodaya, the concept of Sarvodaya is collectively, in totality, rise of each and every aspect of life in each and every citizen Bharatiya. Actually, Gandhi, we cannot envelop Gandhi into our own nation. He is celebrated all around the globe. He is a very godly dignity. He cannot be limited to the boundaries of a particular nation. He is worshipped at par with God of humanity all around the globe. And IAEMPNs, they are the conscious keepers, as Sunil Sood mentioned in his first narration. The conscious means the Antaratma, the conscious keepers of the nation on energy matters. Not only energy, we are, since energy is required in every aspect of life, so if you don't mind, may I start adding Hindi to my conversation. Actually, I am not comfortable much with English, and I'm comfortable with Hindi. So if you allow me to communicate in Hindi, then it would be more comfortable for me to express myself. Please.
Please go ahead, Paritosh ji. Please go ahead.
So, when we mention Gandhian philosophy,
हिंदी में बोल लीजिए.
जब हम गांधी की बात करते हैं, गांधी के दर्शन की बात करते हैं अपने देश में, तो गांधी का दर्शन समग्र में बात करता है प्रत्येक भारतीय की, हर हिंदुस्तानी की. पहले भी कई बार मैं इस बात का उल्लेख कर चुका हूं, टॉप टू बॉटम. तो जब भी गांधी की बात होती है तो बहुत कुछ एक वैश्विक स्वरूप हमारे सामने उपस्थित हो जाता है. हम बहुत कुछ नेचर के करीब अपने आप को पाते हैं गांधी की सोच और विचारधारा के माध्यम से, और भारत के उस दर्शन को हम पाते हैं कि जहां हर व्यक्ति, जैसे अभी सोमू जी ने बताया कि डिजिटली एवरीबडी इज कनेक्टेड, इसी बात को आगे बढ़ाते हैं कि गांधी जी ने समग्र पूरे देश की जब यात्रा की और देश को एक सूत्र में बांधा था, तब अपने सर्वोदय के साथ साथ समग्र के विकास की बात की थी और भारत को एक प्रकार से मानसिक रूप से तैयार किया था आजाद होने के बाद देश को चलाए रखने का, जिसके पथ पर आज देश चल रहा है. और केवल भारत ही नहीं, बहुत से देशों ने, बहुत से लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्थाओं ने उसका अनुसरण किया है और वे आज भली भांति फल फूल रहे हैं, पनप रहे हैं. पूरी मानवता को जागृत किया है। तो बात करते हैं IAEMPNs के रोल मॉडल की, वो गांधी के दर्शन को कैसे आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं। IAEMP एक्चुअली कॉन्शियस कीपर्स हैं एनर्जी और ऊर्जा और पर्यावरण के क्षेत्र में। हम अपने आप को इकोनोमाइजर समझते हैं कि हम किसी भी प्रसंस्करण या किसी भी प्रक्रिया में, प्रतिक्रिया में, किसी भी औद्योगिक या सार्वजनिक जीवन में होने वाली किसी भी व्यवस्था में श्रेष्ठता को किस प्रकार से लागू कर सकें, उसका आकलन कर सकें और उस पर होने वाले ऊर्जा के और उसमें होने वाले संसाधनों के व्यय अपसरण को हम अंकित कर सकें। हम लोग ऑडिटर्स होते हैं, अंकेक्षण पर विश्वास रखते हैं। मान लीजिए किसी भी काम को हमने करने में कितनी ऊर्जा पहले खर्च की थी और अब वर्तमान में हमने कौन कौन से हमने प्रगत व्यवस्थाओं को अपनाया है, जिनके माध्यम से हमने संसाधनों की और ऊर्जा की क्या क्या बचत की है, उसका अंकीकृत विश्लेषण हमारा मूल काम है। तो गांधी की फिलॉसफी थी मितव्ययता की, और यही सैद्धांतिक रूप से मितव्ययता हमें संसाधनों की और हमारे उपलब्ध जो भी रिसोर्सेस हैं वो IAEMPNs का रोल है, और इसी को हमें आगे बढ़ाते रहना चाहिए। जब हम गांधी की बात करते हैं तो एक नाम साथ में आता है, JV कृपलानी जी का। हो सकता है आप लोग, बहुत से लोग इस नाम से अभी परिचित ना हो, लेकिन आप जानते होंगे वो बहुत विद्वान और बहुत प्रतिष्ठित गांधीवादी थे। कृपलानी जी और भाई देसाई जी ये गांधी के सच्चे उत्तराधिकारी थे। तो सर्वोदय की परिकल्पना के साथ स्वराज आश्रम की, स्वराज व्यवस्था की, स्वराज आंदोलन की एक शुरुआत हुई थी भारत के आजाद होने के पहले, और उसमें ग्रामीण भारत को ग्रामीण भारत के ग्रामोद्योग की परंपराओं को, सदियों पुरानी परंपराओं को उसमें उत्कृष्ट रूप से संभाला, सहेजा और उसको विस्तार दिया गया था। उसकी परिकल्पना की गई थी कि स्वराज के बाद ग्रामोद्योग के माध्यम से देश का उत्कर्ष कैसे हो। तो इसको पूरे देश में व्यापक रूप से विस्तार देने के, देखिए डाकघर के अलावा यदि कोई संस्था पूरे देश में है तो वो खादी एंड विलेज इंडस्ट्रियल कमीशन के गांधी आश्रम की है। आप पूरे देश में आज मरती हुई, कराहती हुई, सांस तोड़ती हुई व्यवस्था पुरानी जो हमारी गांधी आश्रम की थी, हालांकि आज 2 अक्टूबर से लेके 1 हफ्ते तक वहाँ भी उत्सव का, आनंद का अवसर रहता है। पूरे साल भर की सेल के बराबर वो 1 हफ्ते या 15 दिन में सेल कर लेते हैं। लोगों का पदार्पण उनके भले राजनीतिक रूप से होता हो, पर उनके खादी भंडार और गांधी आश्रमों में निश्चित रूप से होता है, क्योंकि गांधी आज भी हमारे जीवन में कहीं ना कहीं जीवित है। तो गांधी को याद करते हुए लोग खादी एंड विलेज इंडस्ट्रियल कमीशन की व्यवस्थाओं में पहुंच जाते हैं और उसमें देखते हैं ग्रामोद्योग से जुड़ी हुई कमर तोड़ती आज की कराहती हुई व्यवस्था, यदि IAEMPN उसमें अपनी संलग्नता देख करके कुछ भूमिका निभा सकें तो वो आज के दिन का एक बहुत प्रासंगिक मैं समझता हूँ एक प्रकल्प होगा और एक अच्छी शुरुआत होगी कि हम अपने इतनी बड़ी व्यवस्था गांधी आश्रमों की जो पूरे देश में फैली हुई है। बड़े अफसोस की बात है कि आज कपास की पूनी हमको नहीं मिलती है गांधी आश्रम में। हम चरखे की बात करते हैं, हम खादी की बात करते हैं, हम ग्रामोद्योग की बात करते हैं, हम ऊर्जा संरक्षण और पर्यावरण की बात करते हैं, लेकिन ये सिर्फ बातें हवा में हैं। प्रभावित तौर पर अगर हम देखते हैं तो हम कभी विशेष अवसरों पर, हमने वाकई एक अच्छा अनुष्ठान ले रखा है कि जब हम लोग पूजा पाठ या गांधी के दर्शन के अनुकूल स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यूज पे अपन जाते हैं तो स्वाभाविक रूप से खादी का आवरण धारण करते हैं। कम से कम यहाँ तो अभी खादी जिंदा है। तो IAEMPNs का मैं आह्वान करता हूँ वो अपनी पद्धति में, कार्यशैली में जितना हो सके ग्रामोद्योग को, ग्रामीण प्राचीन व्यवस्थाओं को समावेश कर सकें, उनको समाहित कर सकें और अपने हर प्रकार के प्रोफेशनल एक्टिविटीज में इन बातों का यदि समाहन करते हैं, इनको साथ में लेकर चलते हैं, तो स्वाभाविक रूप से हम देश के हर नागरिक के साथ जुड़ सकते हैं और अपनी जो कार्यविधा हमारी है उसको स्वाभाविक रूप से दे सकते हैं। मेरा अगला आह्वान ये रहेगा कि IAEMPNs बड़े क्रांतिकारी स्वभाव के प्रोफेशनल्स हैं और जब किसी बात को वो ठान लेते हैं तो स्वाभाविक रूप से सब एक मत होकर के, एकजुट होकर के कर डालते हैं, निपटा डालते हैं। आज तक कभी विफल नहीं हुए, पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखा उन्होंने, संघर्ष तो करते हैं। तो गांधी जी के कुछ 5 सूत्र वाक्य थे, कुछ शब्द थे। एक था जिसमें कि प्रोटेक्शनिज्म यानी प्रोटेक्शन देने वाला, यानी संरक्षणवाद। संरक्षणवाद में हम देख सकते हैं कि हमारे जो संसाधन उपलब्ध हैं, जो हमारे मशीन्स हैं, टूल्स हैं, और उसमें हम उनको कितना हम अपनी पुरानी कार्य पद्धति को, जो जिसमें ऊर्जा का क्षरण नहीं होता था, ज़्यादा उपयोग नहीं होता था, एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन का कंसेप्ट हमेशा ही प्राथमिकता से रहा था, उनको हम कैसे संजोए रख सकते हैं। दूसरा है रिड्यूस। रिड्यूस माने घटाना नहीं है, रिड्यूस माने उसके अंदर अपनी कार्य पद्धति में, अपनी क्रियाशीलता में संसाधनों का सीमित, अल्पता के साथ में इस्तेमाल करना, यानी कि उसका वेस्टेज रोक। तीसरा है रिसाइकिल। रिसाइकिल बहुत ज़्यादा चर्चित और प्रचलित शब्द है और सभी IAEMPNs इसके लिए काफ़ी जागरूक हैं, तो इस पर ज़्यादा कुछ कहने की बात नहीं है। स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यूज गांधी जी का हमेशा से एक ऑब्जेक्टिव रहा है। इस पर सभी IAEMPNs की अपनी अपनी सोच हो सकती है। वो जरूरी नहीं है कि किसी स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यूज को हम धार्मिक तराजू पर आकलन करें उसका, और उसको धार्मिकता के साथ ना जोड़ते हुए राष्ट्रभक्ति और देश की भावना के साथ में जोड़ें तो ज़्यादा प्रासंगिक होगा। और इससे भी आगे बढ़कर सबसे ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण होता है वो है सोशल वैल्यूज, सामाजिक दायित्व, सामाजिक हमारी उपस्थिति का, सामाजिक उपस्थिति जो है उसका मूल्यांकन और उसकी गरिमा। हम समाज में उपस्थित हैं, रह रहे हैं, तो हमारी होने की वजह से, हमारे प्रोफेशनलिज्म की वजह से समाज को क्या लाभ पहुंच सकता है। मित्रों, जब अभी बात चल रही थी, सोमू साहब का उद्बोधन चल रहा था, उन्होंने पेंडेमिक के दौरान देश में हुई डिजिटल क्रांति के बहुत से सुखद पहलुओं का उल्लेख किया, जिसमें 4 साल की एक बिटिया का प्रधानमंत्री के साथ संवाद, वो भी वीडियो संवाद, एक बड़ा सुखद संवाद था, सुखद घटना का उल्लेख किया था। मैं जिस घटना पर आपका ध्यान लाना चाहूँगा वो बहुत पीड़ादायी है, बहुत कष्ट होता है। आज 21वीं सदी के भारत में हमने करोड़ों मजदूर साथियों के पलायन को देखा है, उनको सहा है, उनके साथ हमने जीवन के पलों को जिया है, उनके छालों में अपनी वेदना को हमने संजोया है। मित्रों, गांधी की आत्मा रोती हुई, लाल बहादुर का जो संकल्प था भूख से देश को, आज भारत एक सर्व सक्षम है। हम केवल अपने देश को ही नहीं, अपने विश्व में बहुत बड़े हिस्से का पेट भरने में सक्षम हैं और हम बहुत बड़े अन्न उत्पादक हैं। ये एक दुर्भाग्य है कि अन्न हमारा नष्ट हो जाता है सरकारी खरीद प्रक्रिया के कारण। उस पर टिप्पणी या उस पर विषय बाद में चर्चा में की जा सकती है, लेकिन जिस संवेदना, जिस वेदना की बात मैं कर रहा हूँ वो था मजदूरों का पलायन, वो भी 21वीं सदी के डिजिटल भारत। मित्रों, गांधी का दर्शन और IAEMPNs की भूमिका हमेशा ऐसी रहे कि अब कभी भविष्य में यदि किसी प्रकार की कोई इस प्रकार की दुर्घटना होती है हमारे समाज में, ऐसी व्यवस्था न बने, पलायन का ऐसा रौद्र रूप, इतना करुण दृश्य किसी को देखने को ना मिले। मैं उस वेदना की संपीड़ा के साथ अपनी बात को विराम देता हूं और अभिनंदन करता हूं मित्रों, आप सबका आह्वान करता हूं। हमारे सारे के सारे प्रयास लोष्टवत हैं, हमारे सारी मेहनत बेकार है यदि हम अंतिम छोर पे बैठे व्यक्ति के आंसुओं को, उसके दर्द को ना समझ सकें, उसकी पीड़ा में अपने आप की संलग्नता का अनुभव ना कर सकें, तो हमारा जीवन नष्ट है, व्यर्थ है। हमें अपने जीवन की, देखिए ये बात केवल आईईएमपी की नहीं है, आईईएमपीएंस की नहीं है, ये हमारे समाज के प्रत्येक नागरिक का दायित्व है, सामाजिक दायित्व है, बल्कि नैतिक दायित्व है। इट्स मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी सिटीजन टू थिंक ऑन इट, टू लिव सोशियली। हम सामाजिक रूप से जीवन जिए और अपने समाज के अंतिम व्यक्ति तक, मैंने एक बार पिछले उद्बोधन में उल्लेख किया था कि झब्बू की मढ़ैया, शायद याद आ जाए आपको, तो वो झब्बू की मढ़ैया तक हमारी संवेदना पहुंचे, हमारा कोई साथी इस प्रकार के कष्ट में अब पलायन ना करे। हम अपनी धरोहर, अपने मैन पावर, पूरे विश्व में जिस लिए भारत जाना जाता है, हम अपने इस सबसे बड़ी संसाधन का संयोजन कर सकें, इसकी वैल्यू समझें, इसके मानवता के मूल्यों को समझें और इसके जीवन के उत्कर्ष को यदि एक पुट भी दे सकें, एक बिंदु मात्र भी हम यदि इसमें उल्लेख, उसमें इजाफा यानी बढ़ोतरी कर सकें, तो हमारा जीवन धन्य है। गांधी जयंती के अवसर पर आदरणीय आयोजकों, आप सबका अभिनंदन है, धन्यवाद। मैं इस प्रकार अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। आप सबका सादर अभिनंदन। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you, sir. It was more informative. Last but not least, I would like to welcome our General Secretary, Shri Bihu Charan Swain, who is working as a senior consultant in PowerTech Consultants. He is an accredited energy auditor duly by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Government of India. In addition to his brilliant academic record and MTech degree from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, he is having around 23 years of experience in engineering, project, operation and maintenance consultancy. He is also Secretary of IEMP Odisha Chapter, Co-Chairman of Electricity and Power Committee of Utkal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Governing Body Member of Indian Association of Accredited Energy Auditors. Now, I welcome Shri Bihu Charan Swain to speak on the topic recalling concept of reducing, recycling and reusing for sustainable Bharat. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kavi Priya. Thank you all. Paritosh ji, great word. And though time has exceeded, but really it is worth listening whatever you have shared, how you have related to IMP with Gandhiji thoughts. No doubt, Su sir is always a good speaker, good doer also. More than speaker, he is a good doer. And we have the privilege of Sri Anil ji and Dr. Somu ji. Purposefully, we have given a very top subject to Dr. Somu, but he has really done a wonder. Now, coming to the last topic, I would like to dedicate today's event to both Shastri ji and Gandhi ji, and both are equally good. One is the creator of revolution, another one is the product of the revolutions. A creator is required, similarly the products are also required. When the creator is good and if the product is not good, it will not be we may not add values. If you see Shastri ji contributions to Bharat, to modern Bharat, it is overwhelming. After Nehru ji, once who is the prime minister? Gandhiji thought, no, means after Nehruji, Shastriji was the prime minister, and what he has done very marvelous things. He started the Gram Swaraj. That means he has seen poverty. He has seen how foods, medicines are important in human and countrymen, and accordingly he started doing those activities to end poverties. Today, Paritoji has really shared that Bharat is self-sufficient in food, and it is perhaps due to Shastriji contributions to eradicate poverty from India. Now, coming to the strength of Bharat, he has always contributed. He was a brave prime minister, and he never faced any difficulty from any external agency while dealing with them, whether it is aggression from China, whether it is aggression from Pakistan. He always fought very bravely, though he has to sacrifice his life for that. But Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan was his mottos. And if we see after that, Vajpayee ji, Jai Vigyan come into pictures. So if I want to relate IMP with Gandhiji thoughts, Shastriji thoughts, and Vajpayee ji thoughts, what I can see, we need to recycle, reuse, reduce. Those concepts need to start very aggressively so that our country will be a place for sustainable manufacturing and will be self-reliant in energy, will be self-reliant in all our activities. We don't have to depend on petroleum products from external import, because that is a huge cash outflow, foreign exchange going to the foreign country. So energy front, we need to do lot of things at the ground level, at the village level, at the rural level. Decentralized energy, windmill, solar and small hydro plant are the essence which I think we need to contribute that, so that our rural economy will go up. Second one is recycle. Now, if you see a small example, ball refill of the ball pen, or now earlier any one refill is fitting to any of the pen. But today's market, if you go, either it is capitalism, you want people to buy more, so that is it required? Can you not have standardized refill so that I don't have to buy this pen throughout my life? I can do it with this one kind of refill if it can be standardized. I am not against in capitalism or socialistics. Both have its values. Capitalism is required for development, and socialistic is also required to have equalities. But what is more required is corruption-free societies and honest policies. If you these two are important in Shastriji's effort. Now, why the product Shastriji is very good? Because he was honest and he was simple and he was corruptionless. Or because of simplicity and honesty, you can do wonders. Now, both have to be required. So, sustainable manufacturing is very much important, and our industry friends, our capitalist societies should see that whatever can be recycled need to be recycled. I'm not against plastic, I'm not against glass also. But if something can be recycled through glass bottles, milk bottle coming in glass is a very good wonder. Cold drinks can come in glass. Earlier, you used to drink in glass, it is again recycled. And we don't have to go for plastic anymore, or we have to at least reduce those plastics. So, and we can create a lot of employment through that. Similarly, now lubricants, the biodiesels or the oil business can be recycled, furnace oils, and it can be given to the industries who was burning unnecessary diesels and LDO. If you want to burn diesel and LDO, can I not recycle the edible oil or the lubricant, used lubricant? Then it can go to the rural or urban areas and it can be recycled. I am sure because of IMP, if you have seen the last year Energy Ambassador program, somebody from IMP student chapter has developed a very good app to recycle the and to how a e-commerce platform or a app so that anybody can give his the waste to the nearby vendors and they can come and do it. So these are the things which are very much required in doing the recycling business. So friends, if you see Shastriji philosophy, I liked his very good all these ideas, and recycle is a very good business and it will create lot of direct employment in the rural economies. Gram Swaraj, not only in energy front, also in all sustainable manufacturing, we need to grow. Now, if you see current policy of sustainable or steel old vehicle scrap policy, I don't find any difficulty in that. But provided that the scheme is honest, then we can reduce mining of the minerals and you can utilize the scrap. But if the intent is to promote only the automobile corporates, then this type of policy may not do good for the country. Now, there should be some certain provisions. Whatever the vehicle is being scrapped, you can go for e-vehicle. I am sure e-vehicle will be coming in a big way. But those batteries, whether we should do it for the lead acid batteries or for the lithium-ion batteries. Now you see, either you are importing petroleum products or you will be importing lithium-ion from China's other party. We don't have any lithium-ion in India. Now, if we can do some kind of battery technologies through our rural entrepreneurs, urban entrepreneurs, through our R&D, and utilizing maybe aluminum or iron, then perhaps we are going to be one of the leading exporter of the battery which will be required in a huge quantity once e-mobility takes up the driver's seat. I am quite happy the way Dr. Somu has narrated. We are driver of the current technologies, but we should be also driver of manufacturing technologies. India need good quality of manufacturing for its own consumptions at rural level. Now, if we are not doing that, then perhaps we will miss the bus as a passenger, as a driver. And we have all the R&D support systems. We are good in think tank, we are good in consulting, but we should go into rural manufacturing, manufacturing the product which we are going to export to make a self-reliant country and self-reliant Bharat. And Shastriji vision was that Gram Swaraj and Gram Udyog and the rural economy, rural industrializations is very much required to the contest for making an important Bharat for which both Gandhiji and Shastriji had dreamed of. And I am sure IMPians add values to the vision of Shastriji and Gandhiji. And with our small step, definitely we can contribute a lot to make a sustainable Bharat. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram, long live IMP.
Two hand raise were there. The time तो overshoot हो गया, लेकिन दो लोगों ने hand raise किया था.
Yes, थोड़ा yes, we can.
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत अच्छा.
थॉट्स ऐसे आए ना आज थॉट्स सब लोग एकदम फॉर्म में है लग रहा है।
नानसी जी का शायद एक क्वेश्चन था एंड भारती दर्शन, हाँ भारती दर्शन जी का क्वेश्चन था। भारती जी अगर आप क्वेश्चन म्यूट करके अनम्यूट करके क्वेश्चन दे सकते, यू कैन रेज। भारती जी, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Nancy is there. He has also raised. She has also raised her hand.
लोग चले गए एक्चुअली।
Okay, okay.
चलिए anyway, let us conclude it. It has been very wonderful. Actually, everybody has related to Gandhian's thought. Well, for me, it has been very wonderful. I suppose it would have been good for everyone.
वेरी वेल ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, बहुत अच्छा लगा और रियली बहुत सबने अपनी अपनी बात को बहुत बेबाकी से रखा, बहुत अच्छे तरीके से रखा और दिल तक उतार दिया।
अच्छा, एक और चीज है ना कि देखिए आप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का बात भी किया और IoT बेस्ड है, ये सारा चीज उसी से रिलेट हो रहा है, एवरीथिंग उसी से रिलेट हो रहा है। गांधी जी का जो विजन है सस्टेनेबिलिटी का, और अब अभी जो भी होगा, अगर सस्टेनेबल अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट है तभी इम्प्लीमेंट होगा। और जो सेल्फ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जो बात कर रहे हैं, जो मार्केट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, अगर हम उसकी पॉइंट अपना ESL के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें तो वही तो हुआ। जब बल्ब लाया गया, इंडिया कहाँ बना रहा था, सोच भी नहीं रहा था, अभी करने लग गया, i3 मोटर्स भी करने लग गया। तो ऐसे ही करके मेथड्स ढूंढने पड़ेंगे सब जगह, सभी लोगों को लगना पड़ेगा। एक क्लस्टर में क्या चीज हो सकता है, जैसे अलीगढ़ में लॉक सिस्टम, वहाँ के लोगों का दिमाग एकदम लॉकिंग में बहुत चलता है। तो सॉफ्टवेयर के जो वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ लॉक्स एंड सिक्योरिटीज है ना, वहाँ के लोग काफी एफिशिएंट है इसके लिए भी। ये हम लोग का एक स्टडी था इन डिफरेंट फोरम, नॉट इन।
सर, मेरा छोटा सा प्रस्ताव है सर, मेरा छोटा सा ये प्रस्ताव है कि EESL ने पहले या इस जैसी संस्थान ने पहले भी गांधी के थॉट्स द्वारा के विचार से बनाए गए गांधी आश्रम जो स्टोर्स हैं इन लोगों के,
हाँ वो पढ़ लिया आपका थॉट।
हाँ, तो वो उसका उस मंच का भी उपयोग किया जाए। जैसे हमने गंगा जल को बेचने के लिए पोस्ट ऑफिस को पकड़ लिया।
ये कुछ चीजें इमोशनल है, कुछ चीजें वैसे प्रैक्टिकल है, तो इमोशनल प्रैक्टिकल दोनों को मिलाना पड़ता है, तब जाके चीजें आगे बढ़ती है।
ये सही बात है।
खादी पहन लिया, फिर फंक्शन में पहन लिया, पूजा के दिन अच्छे से रह गए, वो नहीं करना है। आज गांधी जयंती हो गया तो हमने मना लिया, कल भूल गए।
हाँ, बस ये
चीजें प्रैक्टिकल हमें लगेगा कि हमारे लिए जरूरी है, तो हम रोज करेंगे।
मेरे ख्याल से जैसे LED बल्ब है या छोटे जो गैजेट्स अगर हम कुछ प्रमोट कर सकते हैं तो डेफिनेटली हमको संकोच नहीं करने चाहिए। उनके यहाँ ग्राहक को आकर्षित करने के लिए कुछ तो रखा जा सकता है।
करेक्ट। चलिए विभू जी, स्टेज इज योर्स। कभी प्रिया कैसे करना?
Yes, sir, it was really a wonderful event. I'm very happy because I'm grateful. I choose to be grateful. That gratitude allows me to be happy. Yet, being happy shows how grateful we are. I would like to shower my hearty gratitude to all the dignitaries and participants who spend their valuable time with us. It has really grateful for me to host this wonderful event. Kindly, all fill the feedback form, and once again, thank you all for being with us. The unlimited capacity of the plant world to sustain man at his highest is a region as yet unexplored by modern science. With this, I, Kavipriya, member of KPIT IMT chapter, signing off from you. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you, Kavipriya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vibhu ji. Thank you, Sudhar. Thank you.
Very nicely conducted, executed. Very nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nice.
Thank you all.